What is up, guys? In today's video, we're going to be reacting to unpopular opinions or hot takes about Fortnite. In a recent video and community post, I asked you guys to leave some comments down below, and that's what we're going to be talking about in this video. As always, if you guys do find this helpful or interesting, remember to give it a like, subscribe if you like to see more, comment down below what you think of some of these hot takes. Obviously, the whole point of the video is these are things that people tend to not agree with, so be respectful in the comments, obviously. And if you guys would like to use me for support or creator, it's underneath the webcam at all times. It's just Evolve Jake, like my channel name. Would be much appreciated if you used my code going into next season to get the battle pass. I don't promote my code too much aside from kind of at the end of seasons like this, but let's get right into it. The first comment is going to be from Squeak, and they say, I believe the game is better without red dot ARs. The bloom on the old ones made them more skillful to use, in my opinion, because you had to manage it. And so I'm not going to talk too much about the first part. The game is better without red dot ARs. I think there's pros and cons. But the thing I really want to talk about is the idea that bloom takes skill, because bloom is random, right? And so a lot of people look at it as a mechanic, and a lot of the hate that Fortnite has gotten throughout, like, its initial blow up was just like, oh, the gunplay is so random because it's all based on bloom, and bloom is random, and so therefore it is completely skillless. That seems to be the prevalent opinion that a lot of players have. And there is, you know, a degree to that. Bloom is random. If you have max spread, whether or not you hit shots is probably going to be pretty random. However, controlling the bloom and limiting the size of your crosshair for the appropriate range and engagement based on the target that you're shooting at, I definitely agree is a skillful aspect of the game. While bloom itself is random, managing bloom I think is very skillful, and that's something that I just like never really kind of agreed with the common sentiment about people saying that bloom is just RNG and it makes the entire game skillless. You know, if you're fighting somebody that's really close to you, you can just full spray and it's not going to be that much of a problem because they're closer to you, so the target is larger. If they're very far away, you're probably going to need to tap fire and take advantage of first shot accuracy as much as possible. And then, you know, medium range, you might have to do a combination of both, or maybe some sort of burst firing. There is a degree of skill to limiting the randomness of bloom, I think, and you still can get, you know, screwed sometimes and get unlucky. So there's no removing the randomness unless you're always first shot accuracy tapping. But I completely agree that like there is a skillful aspect to bloom, and a lot of players just kind of chose to overlook that throughout the years to like kind of write off not managing it properly. But I feel like the skill gap with the third person ARs is managing bloom and limiting that randomness based on the encounter that you're in. So I actually really like to see that comment, because that is the idea that bloom is skillful is like a very unpopular opinion, but I do agree with it to an extent, obviously. The next comment is going to be from Epic Galaxy 21. They say, apparently unpopular opinion. The game is still good and fun and enjoyable. People just play it way too much to enjoy it. The game is at least better than it was in Chapter 1. Sure, you could argue that the player-based community was better back then, but that's not really anything controlled by Epic or Fortnite as a game. So much of now is it's better now than it was then. I misread that part of it, but yeah, so this is something I talked about a lot in the video I reacted to about why Fortnite lost its charm. And reading the comments on that video, I think some people completely misunderstood me. Chapter 1 was my favorite time to play the game. There was a lot of things that I enjoyed about it more. It was more bare bones in a way, and in a lot of ways than current Fortnite, but that's also something that I liked about it. But there's definitely a huge portion of people's opinion on the game is how long they've been playing it. Most people's favorite season or favorite chapter is when they started playing. Most people's favorite battle pass is one of the first few when they started playing. It's just the nature of things. Even in other games you see this. A lot of people's favorite Call of Duty is the Call of Duty they started playing. I think Doctor Who has a system where like there's different actors that play the Doctor throughout the course of the show, and I've heard this compared with COD. A lot of people's favorite Doctor is the one that like was the Doctor when they initially started watching, or the first one they watched. That's just the fact of life, and there's nothing that Fortnite can do about that. I think the main reason why you see overwhelming criticism about the game, and this is just true for all social media, people are much more motivated to comment on something if they're annoyed with it. The people that are happy with the game or just content with the game, like let's say you think the game it's fine right now, it's not your favorite season, it's not the worst season ever, you're just content. Those people aren't that motivated to go onto social media and be like, wow, I'm so content with Fortnite right now. The people who are loving the game, they just play the game. The people that are most motivated to talk about anything are going to be the people that are upset about it or not happy with it. That just goes for anything with social media, and that's why social media is just so overwhelmingly negative most of the time. So I completely agree with Epic Galaxy. I think Chapter 4 is good. Personally, Chapter 1 is my favorite, but like they addressed in their comment, there's so much of that isn't like necessarily like decisions made by Epic. It's really like intangible things that's just like the fact of life, you know? The next comment is going to be from Mads Baby. This is actually one of my friends, and she also streams on Twitch. Her channel will be linked down in the description below. They said, I like that there hasn't been any leaks for the next season. It's so much more exciting to go in not knowing what to expect and be surprised. And this is actually true. She like goes out of her way to avoid leaks and spoilers. There hasn't been too many this season. I think this has been one of the least leaked seasons in a while. And I definitely think this is an issue that people are more like 50-50 on. There's definitely people that avoid leaks, but I think for the most part, a lot of the community likes kind of paying attention to the leaks, the spoilers, the teasers, and kind of trying to infer what might be in the next season based on that. Personally, I really like the leaks. I like talking about them. I like talking about the spoilers. My favorite part about going into a new season is like all the leaks and kind of talking about what might be changing in the game and things of that nature. Whereas like once it is out, like sure, obviously you can play it at that point, but like the speculation upon what might be in the next season is some of my favorite parts of Fortnite, and some of the most memorable seasons for me are, you know, things of that nature. Like the launch of Season 4, Chapter 1, where the meteor was heading towards the map, and there was so much community discussion about like what part of the map the meteor was going to destroy, and then it turned out to be tilted. You know, during the black hole of Chapter 1, the black hole and speculation about what the heck was going on with the game was almost as exciting as like the new map and the new loot pool and all that stuff. Like so much of what makes the game interesting, I think, going into a new season is that mystery. And this season has had very few leaks, very few teasers thus far. You can also go too far on the other end, where like there's too many leaks and too many spoilers, and there isn't anything to be excited about. I think a nice middle ground where there's some leaks and some teasers is much better than nothing at all. One counterexample I have to that, though, is Chapter 3, Season 2. There wasn't any build-up or hype for that season at all because of the current situation that was going on in the world. And when they just dropped zero build like that, it was very surprising. It caught a lot of people off guard, and it was super exciting to get on the game and play. So I like leaks, I like spoilers, I like following all that stuff and talking about it, but I definitely agree that like there's a lot of people out there that like going in blind and just seeing what is going to change in the game. Just for me, the surprise is more like following the leaks and the teasers and not necessarily like seeing it once it's actually in game. The next comment is going to be from Desire. They say you should stream on YouTube and not Twitch. This isn't really that much of an unpopular opinion. It's just a comment I get from time to time, so I thought I would talk about it here. This just seemed like a good place to talk about it. And I used to stream on YouTube. So I started streaming on YouTube around the time Fortnite came out in like 2017. And then I streamed on YouTube until Season 8 of Chapter 1. So early 2019, it was a little under 2 years that I streamed on YouTube, and I streamed every day. And then I switched to Twitch for streaming in 2019, like I said. And one of the main reasons why I like streaming on Twitch over YouTube is just that it is more consistent in a way. It's weird to talk about, but a lot of whether or not your stream gets views on YouTube is just about it getting pushed to people's recommended. And if the YouTube algorithm isn't recommending streams as much, your view counts will go down drastically. Like late 2018, I was averaging like 60 to 100 viewers, typically, sometimes more, which is like solid. It's not great, but that's much better than a majority of Fortnite streamers. Just the nature of streaming, a lot of people tend to be lower in viewership. So I was doing that. I had friends that were YouTube streamers as well that were averaging 100 plus, 1,000 plus viewers, and pretty much overnight, not really, but like over the course of a few weeks, every YouTuber's stream numbers just started declining drastically. I had friends that would average like 1,000 to 2,000 that wouldn't be like breaking over 200 anymore. And we saw this with many other YouTube streamers, and it just seemed like YouTube wasn't pushing streams anymore. So a lot of us switched to Twitch. Apparently it's gotten better now. I know that there's a lot of YouTube streamers that do well, but it seems like uploading videos and streaming on the same channel every day makes them both do worse. I've seen a lot of the streamers that have been paid to switch, like Tim and Ludwig, Myth. A lot of these people either stream on one channel and upload videos on a second channel, or if they do upload on their main streaming channel still, they typically don't upload videos on the same days that they stream. Could be wrong on that. Obviously, I haven't followed everybody incredibly closely, but just for me, I want to stream every day. I like uploading every day. So it just makes sense for me to have it separate. I do stream every day on Twitch, pretty much aside from Sundays. That's usually when I work on several videos. It'll be linked down in the description below if you guys want to follow. but I just like having them separate. It works for me, and it also is a nice hedge against, you know, Twitch messing up and doing something weird, or YouTube messing up and doing something weird. I grow on multiple platforms. Twitch is definitely harder to grow on than YouTube streaming, but my channel has been doing fine. I typically average, you know, close to 100 or more. I got partnered this year, so like I'm happy with how my streaming channels have been doing. Like both my YouTube and Twitch have been doing great, so I'm happy to just kind of keep them the way they are. The next comment is going to be from Rich. They say, Epic spammed us with skins to the point where none are interesting. I hard agree with this comment. I see so many people whenever a new skin comes out, or whenever an item shop rotation comes out, everyone's just calling it an L and flaming the skins, or this skin isn't as good as the old skins. I feel like a lot of what made the old skins good was just that we didn't have hundreds of skins in our lockers, so some of the most simple things could be exciting. And I think this is one of the reasons why Epic does so many collabs now and focuses so much on collabs now, because if they just release generic Fortnite character number like 1,020, I don't know how many skins there are in the game, it's not going to be as exciting as if they release Iron Man or Superman or, you know, Jujutsu Kaisen characters that people like. With the collabs, people already have somewhat of like a relationship built up with those characters, and they're already interested in those characters, so bringing them to Fortnite, you already have people interested in it, whereas just original characters aren't as interesting unless they're a part of the storyline anymore, I feel like. And that's one of the reasons, that could be another reason why they focus so much on the storyline, not only to explain changes in game and kind of keep people interested from season to season, but also if you create a character that people are interested in because they like that character when they're a part of the storyline, people are going to get those skins. You know, when there's a new Sloan skin, people are excited for it. If there was a new Midas skin that leaked, people would be really hyped for that because they like Midas as a character. So I agree. This kind of goes back to what we were talking about before with like a lot of what made early Fortnite so exciting was just that you hadn't been playing Fortnite for as long and you weren't as like burnt out on Fortnite. I'm going to talk more about that tomorrow. I'm probably going to make a video about why I quit Fortnite when I did and why I ended up coming back. But I think skins kind of suffer the same thing. Once you've played, you know, 20 plus seasons, if you've been playing since the game came out and gotten all those battle passes, you have a ridiculous amount of skins. And if you've bought item shop skins in that time as well, so many people have these really stacked lockers now, and so when a new skin comes out, it has to be like incredible to really wow those players, I feel like. The next comment is going to be from Razor Sharp. They say not having ranked zero build solos is a joke, and I don't think this is really that unpopular of opinion in the zero build community. You see this comment here has 122 likes, so I think it was the most upvoted comment on that post. The reason why I included it, despite it not being an unpopular opinion, is because this would be my unpopular opinion in that I don't think ranked solo zero build should be a thing. I think the nature of zero build as a game mode is just inherently not very competitive. A lot of it is RNG to an extent. BRs are always going to have that, but I feel like of build or zero build, builds is clearly the game mode with a higher skill gap that is definitely more geared towards competitive. And of the zero build modes that could be more competitive, I feel like the team modes are definitely less fluky than zero build solos, because so much of the game comes down to like finding utility, carrying utility, and then utilizing that utility properly. In solos, you don't have as much inventory space to kind of you know, fit those items in your inventory. You don't have as much counterplay in a fight, because if someone catches you off guard, you're probably just going to die in solos if it's a stacked game. But also, I think one of the main reasons why there shouldn't be ranked solo zero build, despite like even though solos zero build competitive is just not an ideal format. If anybody played the Galaxy Cup recently, I'm sure you had a great time in that. But also, the ranked player-based population is very little for zero build compared to builds. Like, I've seen a lot of people say it's unfair that builds gets all those game modes and zero builds only has one. I think one of the main reasons for that is just the player population is much lower in zero build. So here is the ranked population for zero build, and you can see 1,700,000 people have played ranked zero build this season. And that is a good amount, obviously, but look at like the right side. Once you get into those deeper ranks, there's so few people in those ranks that they don't even show up on this bar graph, and that makes it very hard to find a match in ranked zero build. I think last season I played to get to Unreal. This season I haven't bothered to, because last season I think I spent more time in queue than actually playing the game. And to actually get a match, I had to play on EU servers. And I think there was also a point where to get a game, you had to be playing with a teammate under diamond rank to be able to be put in a match. Like, it was just so much of playing the ranked mode had nothing to do with actually playing the game, and it was more of just like, how do you make it to where you can actually play a match, be it sitting in queues for a ridiculous length of time, or playing with a lower ranked teammate for some reason helped it, even though it really shouldn't because of how Epic said the ranked mode goes off the highest rank in the party. Either way, the player population in zero build ranked makes it very inconvenient to play if you're diamond or higher. And when you add separate game modes in, you're going to further split that player base and make, even fewer games happening. And this will happen at every rank, but it'll be most impactful at the higher rank. And so here's a graph of builds, and you can see 3.6 million players. There's over double the amount of players that have played a build ranked match than zero build this season. And you can see on those bar graphs, on the higher ranks, there's much more of like a display of players in those ranked. And that's one of the reasons why the queues aren't as bad in build ranked. You could make the argument that, having more game mode options is going to bring in more players. And so that could kind of factor in, if they had ranked solos, there might be more people that play them. But I just think ranked solos is not a good format for zero build. And with the smaller player base for zero build ranked, it's already very hard to find a game in the higher ranks. So I don't think making more game mode options would be ideal at this time. So that is my unpopular opinion. I thought that'd be interesting to include. The next comment is going to be from Steezify. They say, I dislike the Hirable bots, healing you, marking players for you, beaming you with ray guns, handing you shocks, and hitting you with explosives rifles. I despise the whole thing. I completely agree. Sorry. I've made videos about the supply bots that can give you shockwaves or bunkers because, I think they're very good. So obviously I'm going to cover that and tell you guys about it. But I really don't like using that. Like, pretty much the only time I get those bots is when I'm getting gameplay for those videos. Bender was different because he was the center of the map, so he's convenient to get. But the idea of like a decent strategy in the game being landing somewhere and paying gold to an AI, which is super easy to get, and then having that AI have large impact on your game, I think is just not good for the game. The supply bots are the most impactful, I feel like. But, the scout bots can be good. The heal bots can be good. Just the fact that this is a part of the game at all is kind of mind-blowing to me. They can revive people. If you're playing squads, everybody in the party can hire a bot, so you can have a team of 4 turn into a team of 8, and they're not the most helpful thing in a fight, but just causing chaos like that definitely does impact the game. So I do think it would be much better if just hiring AI wasn't a part of the game, and I'm surprised that there isn't more of like complaints from this. I think one of the main reasons why is just because most higher skill players just ignore them and kill the player. But it's definitely an annoying aspect of the game. And for newer players, if you're playing squads and there's just suddenly 8 people all together and you're not that familiar with the game, I think that'd be a very frustrating experience. And like I said, I'm surprised this isn't as hated as it should be. Like, I don't really see many players complaining about it at all. The next comment is going to be from Rail Riders. I think this is a troll comment, but I thought it'd be interesting to talk about anyways. They say, if you buy the battle pass, you should have a choice of one white weapon you will spawn with for the entire season, like a white pistol, AR, or shoddy. Like I said, I think this is a troll comment. I don't think this is real. This would obviously be pay to win, and while the battle pass isn't, ridiculously expensive, any pay to win aspect like this is just not good. But I do want to talk about the idea of weapon starts, because I've seen people kind of say, you should start with a white pistol. It sucks that you just land with nothing and it's all random. Again, like we talked about with the bloom at the start of the video, there's a skill set in minimizing that off-spawn randomness. If you land at a spot that has one floor loot spot, your likelihood of getting griefed by RNG is much higher than someone who lands at a spot where there's multiple chests and multiple pieces of floor loot. And knowing the POI and knowing where to go for the loot is a decent aspect of skill. I personally do not like weapon starts in BRs. Warzone, you started with a pistol. I played Warzone for a year and a half when I quit Fortnite. And that would just do weird things to the game. You would have people shooting you out of the sky while you're trying to land. The melee in that game was really, I think it was like a 2 or 3 hit melee, maybe 2 hits off spawn. And so you would have people just landing on you with a pistol, spamming you, and then meleeing you as well after like hitting you with their pistol to break your armor. It's just really annoying, and I really don't think that starting with a weapon should be a part of BR. So I'm just not a fan of it whatsoever. I think, landing with nothing and then making decisions from that point in the game to get your loot is a part of the game. If you're just consistently not finding a weapon and getting eliminated before you find a weapon, probably should consider changing up something about how you're landing, you know? But that is going to be it for this video. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. If you enjoyed it, remember to give it a like, subscribe if you'd like to see more. Comment down below what you think, you know, of these hot takes, if you agree with them, disagree with them. And if you would like to support me in the item shop when getting next season's battle pass, just Evolve Jake, like my channel name. Thanks for watching.